All right, time for another one here. We got continuing on with the Agua Caliente Rancho Mirage logo change out. So next we're going to focus on the entry monuments. We've got the main one facing west, the bigger one. And you got the smaller ones here facing north. So just for a little background here, so you kind of see what's going on. This is existing. You've got letters that poke up, and on a brick wall here, you got this logo here, and then you have these letters here that light up, and then you have a metal panel that's recessed back that allows light through all the way around. So there's perimeter lighting. Just happened to find this picture. So as you can see on the big boy here, this is actually all aluminum cabinet underneath this brick wall. So as you can see, it pretty much stops right about here. So I believe it goes to about there, and then that's built up, and then it goes to about here. And then this is all brick built up to make it look like all one piece. So this is from the backside here. So this is like, you got doors that are accessible along the backside there. And as you can see on the front is open here. And then there's this ledge here where light was allowed to come through. And then there's an actual panel that's bigger than that, that's kind of attached from the inside. And that's where all these letters sit here. So just giving you a little background on how it's built. I guess what we're going to do is they're going to take this cap off. It's like a stone cap all the way across. And then they're going to go ahead and cut these pipes flush, because these pipes actually go into the cabinet. You can't really see it here, but there's actual holes along the top here. And then each one was slotted into and welded from inside. So, what's up, Ernie? So anyway, so they're going to cut all that flush. And essentially what's going to happen, and they're going to take these letters off. And what we're focusing on in this video is just getting these letters ready. I'm going to go ahead and work on the logo in a different segment. And we're going to get these letters built. But we need to figure out how we're going to reskin this, because when we take this off, obviously it's going to have its own holes, and those need to be fixed. So anyway, so what you're going to get is basically a 1/4-inch plate. That is basically the whole top section of this, and it's going to have new holes, and you're just going to create channel letters and weld sticks just like that. And then install is going to go back over and self-tap like crazy, and just self-tap that whole thing back on the top of this thing. And then they're going to put stone back on top and call it good. So like I say, this video is just going to focus on getting these letters ready, and you just build these letters. And then I still need to figure out how we're going to actually patch this, what metal we'll use for that. And then the logo needs to be sort of built out. So this is what the imagining is. So as you can see, it's just same idea, except it's going to be reverse channel letters. These are regular channel letters here, and these are regular channels there. So all of this is going to go to reverse channel letter with the new font. And the logo is going to kind of be in the same spot, but it's just going to be a little bit different. But like I said, I still got to figure those out. So anyway, now that you kind of have an idea what's going on, let's go over the lay of the land. So I broke it up into bigs and smalls. So you got bigs and smalls. So the big letters, reverse channel letter, and backer pieces there. It's all 090. You got the smaller version, same thing. I'm calling these the Bebe letters. These are the little ones that go down on the bottom there. These are for both sets, one a little smaller, bigger. You got gang of tabs. Hopefully the Mark II works, because you got a lot of them. So just keep an eye out for all those. So here's your 1/4-inch plates. You've got your bigs and smalls. Just look for B1, B2, B3, kind of just work their way around. And then I have etched underneath. I have the A, G, U, A. So that will be where your letter goes right there. So you got bigs and smalls. These do not need to be welded together. These are going to go out separately, and then they're just going to butt them together and frap them down. Backers for all the main letters and your Bebe letters. All right. So your work pages are as such here. You got your letters. So it's really not that big a deal, just a couple things to go over. But main thing is you've got a lot of 050 needed. So you've got 70 some, you got 66 there. And actually the Bebe letters, take up the most. You got 140 strips of baby letters. So not to mention 050 tabs and whatnot. And that means a lot of rivets. So I know you're bringing in rivets for the other letters. Bring in more rivets. So make sure you got plenty. But this isn't really a difficult part of this job. It's just very big. The scope the amount of work, the LOE, level of effort. So the only thing really to go over is how to make these sticks and how to make this work. So just show you what I got going on. So you'll have your 1/4-inch plates. They'll face up on your table. Make sure you clamp them down so they don't move and they don't warp. They're going to, but make sure they don't warp as much as they can. I have an 1/8-inch island fill down, and then I left this open for the wire. So that way it'll fit in there. Depending on which side gets the wire through, you'll be running that through. You're going to want to make sure that these get welded really well. That's all that's going to be kind of holding these is these 2 welds here. So make sure you don't over penetrate. Make sure you don't undercut. Make sure that they're actually very, square. Tack them first. Make sure you get them all good to go. Scrub them up really good with the stainless, and make sure you push your welds, do not pull, and all of that. Make them really sexy because these are going to have to put up with wind load and all of that. So anyway, but it's going to be, that part of it's going to be pretty straightforward as far as once you get the sticks welded to the backers, then you're just going to line them up and weld them to the plates. Kind of like that. I think you did an Eisenhower sign that sort of followed the curve like that. So here's a little side view here. This doesn't actually penetrate. It's just going to be flush. So anyway, you got your cut lists. What's up, Edgar? You got your cut lists here. You'll notice that the 14-inch size does share both sizes. Both the small and the large have 14s. So while you have the stop made for 14, go ahead and cut for both. But the smaller one gets smaller. You got 9.5s and 12s. And the large one there goes 16s and 11s. So it's best I could do, but if it's too long or too short, it won't fit. Anyway, so what you're going to get on the... Let's go back to the main page here. Anyway, it's easier. So you'll see that these are going to be V-bit reference scribes, and route. You want to make sure you get in there with these. Do not skip these. Make sure your depth is set. If you miss these, then it's going to be very tough to line these up just to know where they go. So you're going to look out for these. And what you're going to do is you're going to use the, let's see, big work page. There you go. So you're going to use those to line up where the sticks go. So you'll take the stick, the 14-inch, use this as your little legend here. Take the 14-inch, you line it up with the top of that square there, and you use this square to line up your left and right. And then you're going to put this face down on some metal on your table, clamp these down, make sure they don't move both ways, make sure they're nice and even. And then you're just going to tack them. You don't need to get crazy. Just make sure you get like a nice 1-inch bead here and like a 1-inch bead here and here. That's all you really need. They're not going to really go too far. So again, just make sure they're symmetrical. Like make sure they look nice, like one down here and one down here. And then, just work your way along and kind of keep that sort of design language, if you will, just sort of a 1-inch bead and a 1-inch bead. Just make it look nice. So once you get these on there, these go on the back. Then all you're going to need to do is drill this out. This is 3/8 like we do. You might want to kind of start your drill and then angle down a little bit so that way the wire can kind of run its way down. I expect that we could maybe use blue page wire for these. Might be a little easier to thread to work its way down. But if not, you can choose either way, or you can use the gray Sloan. But I'm saying you're going to drill these out, but you might want to kind of angle your drill a little bit. So anyway, that's it for both. So use this as a guide and make sure that each letter gets the number it needs. And then it's very important that these line up with the top, because otherwise, that's going to set the depth. So if you get this welding wrong, then the letter will be wrong and it'll be crooked. So follow this, make sure they all line up properly like that. And make sure you get these all, cut to 11, double check. Move your guide a little bit if you have to. Get it dialed in first, and then make sure that these are all true. So that way all of these are level. So anyway, so just to kind of go over it one last time here. So you got the big letters, just reverse channel letters like crazy. Small letters, same thing for the other monuments. The baby letters are just reverse channel letters on their own. They don't have any backers or anything. These are just going to mount directly to that panel like you saw. But like I say, I still owe you that. We're going to figure out how we're going to route that. You know, if it's going to be white 063 or something like that. Anyway, so it doesn't really involve you too much. You've got the big work page here. So just the bigger version of those and the smaller version of those. Like I say, just go ahead and weld on those sticks. And once you get those sticks welded on, then you take them down here and you burn them directly to these plates here. Make sure these plates are clamped so they don't move. Make sure they stay flat as possible and burn them really well because that's all they have to hold it. So then work your way around, and then each of these plates just goes out to paint. Once you get the sticks welded with the contour backer and everything's drilled and everything, you're going to go ahead and just take these out to paint. I did order up McMaster Carr. I ordered some caps for the 1x. There's a lot of caps right here. So we might be able to just hammer in the plastic caps and just call it good, I think, before they go out to paint. I think that'll work well. Otherwise, we have a heck of a lot of little caps to Lord's ends to and clean up and everything. So I think that'll work. Is go ahead and don't weld across the top. Keep your welds along the vertical, just nice and small and even, and make it look even and symmetrical. And then, like I say, you'll see probably tomorrow, Thursday, you'll see some caps come in. We can try those out and see how they work, and maybe we just hammer those in and then call it good. So, because this is only secondary anyway, so really, I mean, technically, you don't really even need a cap, so water can enter. So, anyway, this is just a cut list sheet for how to, putting it together, your legend and whatnot. Let's see. I think that's it. So, yep. All right. So, just get cracking on that. Like I said, I have the logo to work on next. I'm going to do some survey on that. But figure out how we're going to build those. These are just going to be polycarbonate face with a retainer, similar. It's a very small version of what you did at Cathedral City, but it's got to kind of have that hangover here. So we have to figure that out. So, and I think this is primary only, so we have to figure out where to put the power supply, if we can hide it up in here or something. Anyway, so I owe you that. That's coming. And like I say, just that piece of metal that's going to replace this and then that way we can put the letters up. So the bebes. All right, so if you have any other questions, hit me up. It looks good.